things. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know as we go on. I take care of Quicksilver District for out of the Silicon Valley Monterey Bay Council. So what that really means is I start about where the Shark Tank is, and I go all the way down San Jose, Almaden Valley, Blossom Hill, Morgan Hill, and Gilroy. That's kind of my slice that I take care of. This year that we just ended, we ended with 1,272 kids, which is pretty good. We are behind where we've been. The last few years, we've taken a number of hits, so we're trying to rebuild. We did hit our goal that we were trying to get to for membership. For the council actually encompasses four different counties. So we're Santa Clara County Council, Santa Clara County. We're also San Benito County, Santa Cruz County, and Monterey County. So we go all the way from Milpitas all the way down to King City. So we have a mixture of high density scouting and some rural scouting out in the farming community down there. So the council itself, over the last 2 years, because of COVID, we've actually taken some hit on membership and lost some units, but we're rebuilding now. This year, we actually have ended slightly over last year, which is a good thing. I don't have the exact number, but we're at about 9,500 kids where we ended. Our goal is to try to get back to where we were. We were at 14,000 kids in 2019, but a number of things have happened since then. And so we're working to get back to that level again. And we get back there by doing recruitments. So in the fall, we try to do big recruitments, and in Almaden Valley, we actually did quite well. A lot of the kids wanted to join then, and we kind of hit the right time between COVID problems to do it. In your area, off the top of my head, I think we recruited about 100 kids in Almaden Valley between the 3 different packs that are in the area, and there are about 4 troops in the area as well. And so between those, we did quite well. We didn't do as well in some other parts of the district, but we're working on it. So we'll get there. Yes?
How do you recruit when you say recruit?
So recruit is getting kids to join the program. And we use a thing, it's kind of an outdated term, but we call it 5 touches to try to get people involved. And a touch is sending home a flyer, having a poster. So with the school districts, we send home flyers, either printed flyers or a lot of cases they're electronic flyers now. And sometimes the schools allow us to put up a poster. We also have the kids have little business cards we give them to invite their friends to come to meetings. We've extended out now that we do targeted Facebook posts. So what we do is we make an event on Facebook, and then you can pay to have it advertised in a radius around the spot where you want to do it. And so we would do that for the week just before our information night. So we try a number of these different things. We also use Eventbrite, because you can do a free listing there. If anyone does a search online and says, hey, what is going on with kids coming up this month, Eventbrite's one of those things that actually will pop up. And then we use word of mouth, inviting their friends and things. And so it's just inviting them to a meeting. And usually once we get them to the meeting, that's where we explain what like the Cub Scouts are all about, what the Scouts BSA, which is the next level up, the troops are all about, and even what veteran is all about. So we try to.
Can you clear this up for me? Didn't the Boy Scouts invent the rules?
Yes.
And so that's my first question. My second is, where does that leave the Girl Scouts?
The second question I can't answer very well, but the first one I will. We lit girls joined the Cub Scouts about 4 years ago now. Maybe it was 5 years ago. To let them join and become part of it.
So the girls included their Boy Scouts?
Yes. I want to back up a little bit. Girls have been part of the Boy Scouts since 1960. A lot of people don't know that. It was with a program we called Exploring, which we still have. Exploring is a career-based program. It's for 14 to 20-year-olds. So that's usually, you'll hear about police explorers, fire cadets, professional chefs, like culinary institution will have this. It's usually associated with a career path, something they want to go and do. Journeyman, with learning how to do welding and woodworking, things like that. All those are career-based things. That all started in 1960. At the end of the 70s, the beginning of the 80s, we found that half of our group in Exploring were career-based. The other half were trying to do high adventure stuff. So we split it and we made the venturing program. Still 14 to 20-year-olds, co-ed program. Girls and boys can be part of it, and they are actually the leaders. They decide exactly what they want to do. About 6 years ago, it was finally decided to let girls into the Cub Scouts and to turn it into family scouting. What's happened for a number of years leading up to this is the family would go camping with the Cub Scouts. The girls would take part in the program because they were there and needed to keep busy, but only the boys would end up getting the advancement and everything. And so it was finally decided, why don't we open this up, let the girls take part in the whole program. So yes, the girls are part of the Boy Scouts of America, and it still is the Boy Scouts of America. About 3 years ago, we added the troop level, or Scouts BSA, in where there are girl troops inside the Boy Scouts of America. In most cases, they're called a linked troop, which means you have a boy troop, they've added a girl troop, and they share their committee. Their committee is the governing body, the business side of the unit. So they have a committee chair, that's where your treasurer, secretary, membership is all part of that. So they share that. But the girls have their own leadership. They'll have their own scoutmaster separate from the boys one. And they'll have their own youth leadership. They'll have their own senior patrol leaders and everything. And so we've kind of become what we call full family scouting. That way the girls can go along with their brothers, take part in the program, and actually earn their awards. What's neat is I saw your calendar, and you're going to an Eagle Court of Honor on Saturday. I'm going to one for across the street over here. First one in the district, boy and girl combined Eagle Court of Honor, right across the street over here. So that's what I'm doing.
Sound like you're trying to one-up us.
Your guys will probably have one a little bit later. For the Girl Scouts is a completely different program. They can allow boys in if they want to. It's a completely different governed entity, and it's up to them to decide what they want to do. So I have no say on it. They do have their own ranks. Their highest rank is the Gold Award. So I don't know what they're planning to do.
So the Girl Scouts didn't fold into the Boy Scouts?
Nope, two completely separate entities. I can say that the Girl Scouts are shrinking. They've been shrinking for the last decade. They just keep getting smaller and smaller. And I don't really know why. How they do recruitment is different than how we do recruitment. We were talking about recruitment earlier. We start a Cub Scout pack, and we recruit kids into the Cub Scout pack. Then they go through all the different levels, and they get to Weeblos and transition into a scout troop. And then you bring new kids into the pack and do it. The Girl Scouts do it a little differently. They form kind of like a den. A den is about 6 to 8 kids. those kids stay together all the way through the program until everybody's kind of done with doing it. And so then they're continuously making new units where we're putting people into units and letting them graduate up into other ones. So it's a different model. The Girl Scouts is a different entity. So if they wanted to add boys to it, there would be no problem. The Boy Scouts wouldn't have a problem with it because they're completely different programs.
I sold more Girl Scout cookies than anybody in my town. I believe it.
Where, John?
That's what I was.
Illinois.
That's what I was gonna say. You guys can figure out how to start selling Girl Scout cookies and drop popcorn. You make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
John,
what
were
I
you
will
a
say,
Girl Scout?
that's what,
I sold more cookies than anybody. in
You
my
were a Girl Scout?
town for hundreds of years.
Okay.
So just to answer the popcorn versus cookie question.
Okay.
Popcorn costs a little bit more, but it has a much higher return. So for every $10 spent on popcorn, $3 to $3.50 go to the unit selling it. $3 go to the council, and the rest pays for the popcorn. With Girl Scout cookies, I hate to pick on the Girl Scouts.
No.
They get about 75 cents for every box they sell.
Wow.
Wow.
Those boxes are
The troop,
$5 to $10.
troops get 75 cents?
Yes, for every single
$6.
box.
There's $6.
So I mean, it's we in our district, we had the #1 seller in the council, and he was number 3 in the nation this year. He was #1 last year in selling popcorn. He sold $37,000 worth of popcorn.
Wow.
And that's during the pandemic. So
What does that look like physically?
physically fills up this room. Is what that does.
I was just gonna make a comment because how you said the Girl Scouts, they just hang out until they're done. And that's one of the gripes I have. I have a daughter that's 15, gonna be 16. She's been with the same people forever, and she just wants to hang out with them. But it's like, they never really, there's no kind of accomplishment like an Eagle Scout or any of this other stuff. They just hang out until they're done hanging out. And there's nothing really that they do. Where I see with the Boy Scouts, where it's like milestone, do this, do that.
And you change your leaders.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times you'll get like with Cub Scout level. So the Cub Scout level is basically kindergarten through 5th grade is what Cub Scouts are. During that time frame, that pack will probably have 2 different Cub Masters, maybe even 3. So your top leadership will keep changing as their kids graduate out. They'll bring somebody else in, and so you'll get a fresh look at things and a restart. And when you get into a troop level, same sort of thing. Usually you get a Scoutmaster for 3 to 4 years. There are exceptions. My Scoutmaster is still Scoutmaster. So when I got my Eagle Scout way back when, the dawn of time, he is still Scoutmaster now. He's the longest, I don't want to say reigning, but longest Scoutmaster the council's had. So he's over in Cupertino area. But you always are changing committee chairs and different people, assistant Scoutmasters, and so you get a fresh look. But the Girl Scouts, it tends to be same group of kids and the same group of adults. And usually what happens is the adult says, I've done this 4 years in a row. We're doing the same thing. I'm done. And it falls apart. So
there's one mom that just keeps everything together. In my case,
That was my mom.
yeah.
And my wife is like, okay, tell me when we meet for pizza and wine.
But I have seen some Girl Scout units kind of adopt the Boy Scout approach, where they try to change up who the leader is each year or every other year. And they also try to do a recruitment where the kids bring in some new kids every year, some new friends. But that's a one-off based on that particular unit. So
I have another question. Having been the club's contact for Boy Scouts, I got no manual or anything that said to me this is what we're supposed to do or how we're supposed to do it, which I'd like to see some of that change in the club. But anyway, what's the best way as a club that we can participate with you guys, with the leaders that we're in contact with? I mean, I've pretty much been the person they come to for approval, sign this, sign that kind of stuff. But give us the guidance about how we can support you.
So to answer the first part, this has been changing over the last several years. So it hasn't been historical, it's been changing. We have a website called my.scouting.org. It's a free website. You can go out. There are all kinds of online trainings you can go look at that will help you out.
I had to take the sexual harassment.
That's the youth protection training. But there is actually a charter organization rep training that's pretty good. It talks about those relationships. One of the things I would say is it would be nice to have you guys attend, one person, not all of you, attend their different committee meetings. Most of the units have a committee meeting a month, and they go through like the calendar, what they're planning on doing, what they're thinking about doing, and you could see if there's different things you can take part in. I guarantee those troops that you've been invited to the London Eagle Court of Honor, there's probably 3 or 4 Eagles out of each one of those troops every year. So it'd be nice that, if you guys have one representative go to it, but they have regular courts of honor as well, big award ones. It's nice that, if you guys go by that, and then you can invite them to your events. You guys have, you have a number of different events that they probably want to come to too. You guys don't do I heard something about a big tri-tip dinner. Scouts like tri-tip, but they also like golf. I think some of you guys do a golf tournament. We do a golf tournament every year. So I know that some of them, Troop 290, which is one of the units you sponsor, has a number of avid golfers in there. One of the guys I work with quite a bit with Scouting for Food, that he's like COVID because he's been able to go shoot 9 holes of golf before he actually has to do work now, based on how the whole schedule has changed for him. He doesn't have to be in the office, and he can log into his meetings a different way.
So is Tom Latte a good contact for us, or is there a better?
He's a good one for that particular unit.
Okay.
I have contacts at the bar shop,
Yeah.
and I say his name, Anil.
Anil.
Yeah, he's the chair.
So Anil is 290.
294.
294. Tom, I think it's 290. I might be mixing those up. One of them, this is the time of year that some of them change jobs too.
When I called Anil, he didn't call me back.
So we used to do like a kids fishing day, and the scouts would come up to the perk ponds and spend the night to make sure it was great. We did actually cook them food then. I tried to back then, but they would go camp out and literally would spend the night there on like a Friday night. It was cool. What you're saying is we would contact these folks to help bring them in, to help us be involved in an event or a fundraiser or a community service opportunity, that kind of stuff.
I would say yes, that's part of it. I would say it really should be a partnership.
Yeah.
You guys are sponsoring those units. Well, they should also help sponsor you guys. So if you're having a bigger event that you need a group to go clean up from, maybe one of the troops can provide some service to go do that.
Super Bowl party?
The Super Bowl.
So we usually don't like scouting. We usually don't like scouting events where there's alcohol with kids around. So that'd be a questionable one there. But that being said, we've had scouts help out at the garlic festival and the mushroom Mardi Gras and all those different things. One of our scout troops has a Santa ship. It's not a sleigh, it's a ship, but it's a float. And they put a Santa on it, and for the whole month of December, they park it at Friday night, it's at one shopping center, Saturday night, it's at another shopping center, Sunday, it's at another one, and they invite all the kids to come out and they take it down the parade. So there's all kinds of different things they do. But I would say if you guys could build up a partnership, it would help you out because it would probably boost your membership too. and you'll see what they're doing a little bit more too, and help them out, because they might want to do something and they don't have the resources, don't quite know how to do it. And you guys might be able to say, hey, we know how to do that, and can help them out. So that, I would say, if you could booster that partnership, that'd be good.
And where could I get all three? Because I don't have all three of this.
Oh, I'll be happy to give it to you.
Okay, if you could just send it to me.
I was
And I
gonna
would
say-
let them know that we have a big trailer barbecue that they could use whenever they need a bird event. Like, we'd love to let them borrow it.
That's something to let them know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll try to do different things later on in the year. Some of the things Cub Scouts do is they do big blue and gold dinner in February. The reason why they do it in February is that's when they started Cub Scouts. The anniversary of Cub Scouts is February. So that's why it's always there. They do a Pinewood Derby race. Usually that's either this month or in February too. That's where they get a block of wood with 4 wheels, and they got to make themselves a car, and they have a straight track that they race them down. So that's something that the Cub Scouts do. And
Yeah, I have a question from, yes, aside from additional scouts, what other needs does scouting need to thrive?
funds. Fundraising, that's another one of my points. So to tell you how the Scouts are funded, this is kind of a funny thing that a lot of people don't understand. Right now, we just went through a rechartering process. Some of you guys were involved with that to get all the kids signed up for the new year. All of that money, the registration fee, which is about $75 now for kids and about $50 for, that all goes to the national office. That's what pays to run the national office. We don't see any of that money locally. So locally, to run our council, to keep our council camps operating, our 2 offices running, is we do a number of different things. One of them is called Friends of Scouting. We go out and we ask all the members to donate to help raise money to operate. We also do a community breakfast, usually in April, where we'll get a guest speaker to come, and we'll ask people to host a table to come through to do it. And then we also do some bigger events, kind of like you guys. We do a golf tournament every fall. It's usually at Cinnabar Golf Course down there, Monterey area. We also do a very unique event that we started about 10 years ago called Sporting Clays, which is it's kind of like golf, but with shotguns and clay pigeons. There's a place down in Morgan Hill called the Coyote Creek Sporting Clays, and they have basically.
Can girls come too?
Yes.
We've
Yes.
done it. We do a fundraiser down there for Ducks Unlimited.
Yeah. So we do that. We actually do 2 different events for that. We do one in the middle of the week, and we do one on a Saturday. We get a lot of corporate people coming down, and corporate. We get the president and vice presidents come down, and they use it as a team building thing. It's teams of 4, so they put together different teams. And we also do a couple of big community dinners where we honor people. So we do a character awards dinner where we honor 4 to 6 people every year. And then we also do what we call a distinguished citizens dinner, where we honor one individual in November. And that's a really big thing. Ron Deargron was one of our past honorees. I think it's a $300 a plate dinner.
Wow.
And we raise like $250,000 at that event. We just did that just before Thanksgiving at the Hayes Mansion, and did it all outside. We had tents and things, and they, with the people we honored this year, is they really like carnivals. So we had all these different carnival booths, popping the balloons with the darts and throwing the baseballs at the milk jugs, and they had all kinds of fun. So yes.
Yeah, so this is from Wendy. She likes to thank you for being here. She's a parent of 2 scouts of Troop 339 and was the popcorn colonel for many years.
All right.
So that must be you sell a lot.
Popcorn Colonel is the person in charge of the popcorn sales for the unit. So she was probably in charge as the chairman. We changed the name of chairman to colonel for the unit, and they're the ones making sure that they pick up enough popcorn from the show to sell at like a storefront. They decide to set up a table at a storefront. But nowadays, they are also the ones that set up accounts for kids that can go door to door and sell it on a smartphone and have it delivered. So there's a number of different ways. So that was her job. That's a big job. So thank you on that.
And can you share with our group what Boy Scouts are most known for?
Most known for Eagle Scout. That's really the biggest thing that the Boy Scouts of America are known for. Is the highest rank in the Boy Scouts of America is an Eagle Scout. In getting there, they have to go through many, many years of advancement and learning different things, but it all culminates in 2 major things that are unique. The first is planning and executing a Eagle project for something in the community. It cannot be for the Scouts. That's one of the big kickers. It can't be for the Scouts. It has to benefit somebody else, like a church, county park, something like that. So they have to go through, they have to plan it all out. They have to figure out how they're paying for it, whether or not the organization's going to pay for it, or if they need to do a little fundraiser to buy stuff to do it. And then they have to lead the group in how to put it all together. After that, they have to write up a report that says exactly what they did. And you got to think about this. These are high school students, for the most part, writing a major executive report, something they've probably never done. And the last step is they go through an Eagle Board of Review, which is somebody from the district is on the board of review, and you usually have 2 or 3 adults in addition to that person on it, and they review everything. And when they pass that, hopefully they pass that, then they can call themselves an Eagle Scout. And you might say, well, how does this translate to their future? Well, that's a group interview. You really look at it when they get ready to go get a professional job, that's a group interview. They're selling themselves, telling them what they did. So it's preparing them for that. Eagle Scout on a resume will almost always put the resume at the top of the stack for them to look at. Won't always guarantee that they get an interview, but if you got a huge stack, it'll be put on the top so they actually look at it. Gold Award will be looked at too, but not quite as much because they know Eagles a little bit more. So
And we got 5-minute warning.
okay. Well, I'm answering your question. So does that answer your question about what we're known for?
Yes.
Secondary things that we're known for: Pinewood Derbies for Cub Scouts, camporees for the troop level scouts, and community service. If you take a look around, a lot of times you'll find community projects that we've done. Scouting for Food is a big community thing that we just did in November. We raised, the number kept changing. The last number I had was 75,000 pounds of food was brought in for that event and for our council in November. So, and we delivered that food to pantries local to every unit. So we didn't just all send it to one. We made sure they all went to the communities they were donated in. So, any other questions?
I had one question. In your many years with the Scouts, have you noticed any impact on social media, kids getting on social media, or can you use social media positively with kids?
You can use social media positively. We actually use it to do recruitment now.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of our models of doing recruitment. We've actually created nationally called a cyber chip, which is a training that all the scouts need to go through, so they're actually protected when they're doing things online. You know, they're aware of how they're putting contact information out there. Usually when we're doing stuff online, we only use first names. So we don't use last names, so they don't have a way to really trace it. When we post pictures, we try to post pictures of a group, not as individuals, and we don't label who's in the picture. You know, or if we do label it, we don't tag them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, here's pack, 272, and here's all the names, but you can't, so that helps protect them. But yeah, you can use social networking, and it works. Kids like that. You need to go where the kids want to do stuff. You need to go where the parents want to do stuff, but you need to make sure you're protected. And so with the Scouts, we always make sure all of our adults have gone through youth protection training. And with the kids, there's actually a couple different levels of youth protection training for them as well that we send them through. So social networking works. We just limit contacts. And when there has to be an email address put online for a contact, it goes to an adult. It doesn't go to a kid. So a perfect example is part of the Scouts. We have a group called the Order. It's a service organization of the Scouts. It's usually older troop level kids, and they get in and they help do projects that are camp. It's all planned and run by the kids. So you look at it going, oh, well, they got to put an email address out there. Well, that's where we protect it. So it's like, it's not their email address. We put in a masked one that says, chief at this, and that email might go to the chief, but it also goes to like 2 different advisors. So 3 of them already know what's going on. So it's never a direct contact type thing. So you had one more question, and he's going to hold up the one saying I have a minute.
Don't put a 10-year-old in it.
No, that wasn't. I just forgot of it. But whatever was marketing, you said you marketing to Facebook. Is that to the adults or the kids? Because the kids aren't on Facebook.
There you're wrong, but
we
are marketing. So when you do a marketing to Facebook, you do an app, you do an event. You post the event onto your website, and then you can do what you're called boosted, where you pay for it. In the boosting process, you can say, I want this sent to all parents who have kids in this age range, and we want to send it around.
The kids.
It's going to parents, because we in the boosting process, you say parents. Like in my case, I always say I want parents of kids 5 to 14 years old, and I want the parents to be 25 to 50 years old. Those are the components I put in. So it won't go to the kids.
This is a question I had. So I coach a lot of kids in sports, and we have a phone issue. So during meetings, is there like a Boy Scout policy? Everybody turns in all their phones before they walk in the door, or is there something like that, or no?
That would be up to the individual unit. Most units have a thing where you got to turn it off on your way in.
Okay.
I would recommend not collecting them, because now you've hit yourself into a liability of making sure you get it back to them and it doesn't get broken in the process. And maybe it was broken when they handed it to you and you don't know. So what I would do is I would tell them all, turn them off when you come in, or you tell the parents, we don't want phones while they're in here. So when you drop them off, you collect the phones. That way you're not playing with them. So that would be my personal recommendation. As for official policy, no, we don't have one on that. It's usually handled at a unit level on how they want to do stuff.
Cool. Thank you, Ken.
Sure, no problem.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I guess that concludes the meeting for